You're listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with Lyndia Grant.
Well, good evening, Radio 1 listeners. Thank you for tuning in to The Lyndia Grant Show. I'm so happy to be here with you again today. This week, March 27th, we are having a surprise guest in the second half. There's a big thing going on in Detroit. My friend Lavonia Perriman forwarded some information to me on a gentleman named, an actor. His name is Christopher Broughton, and he starred in a TV movie, Ruth and what is that? Ruth and I forget the man's name, but anyway, it was a very good movie that was on Netflix. And so I am so excited that he was going to be our guest this week. He's going Ruth and Boaz. I'm sorry, that's what it is. He is a well-known actor, Christopher Broughton. But let's go to Dr. Julianne Malvo now. She's going to talk to us about what's going on in politics. You listen to the Lyndia Grant Show here on Spirit 1340 WYCB. Good evening, Dr. J.
Good evening, Lyndia. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. But our country is not. If you're trying to fly these days, put your with your patient panties on, or pants. Put your patience on.
Mm-hmm.
Something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Workers have called out sick, about a third of them, or they're working without pay. Meanwhile, the federal government has deployed immigration and customs enforcement agents, ICE, to assist at airports. What kind of assistance can they offer? They're not trained in any of this. What they're going to be doing is harassing people. And we know that. They're not trained to do screening. They're saying they can manage crowds. What they need to do, so they're getting paid, but the people they're working next to are not getting paid. In some airports, the lines have stretched for hours.
Wow.
I just saw a man, he said he stayed in line for 4.5 hours and ended up missing his planes. The airlines are not accommodating people. I mean, they really can't. So you stand in line, you miss your plane, you got to go do it all over again. And you have to leave the security area to go back to attempt to get a rebooking.
Mm-hmm.
So this is chaos. But it's Trump imposed chaos is what he wants to do to destabilize, and that's what he's been doing. And it affects everything. It affects business appointments. It affects commerce. It affects everything. Mm-hmm. But that's happened. So, we hope that this will calm down. But here it hasn't. And it is a crisis that this administration seems to enjoy dealing with. They love crisis. They love mess. So here we have it. I was supposed to go to New York on Saturday, and I ended up taking the train. I just said, I'm not going to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to deal with it. I like the train anyway. It's very comforting and it's relaxing. So I just took the train.
And it's not that far. It's a good ride.
Exactly. Pleasant ride. But people have to travel, stay on top of it, get on your devices, find out ask what the projected delay is. And on the other hand, some airports, San Francisco as an example, they have a private contract for security that don't use TSA. So people are waiting like they usually do, 15, 20 minutes at the most. So we might want to look at what this means about TSA and private contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, last week, that man who lives in a house that enslaved people built asked for $200 billion for war in Iran. $200 billion. They haven't told us why we're there. They haven't told us how long we're going to be there. But he wants $200 billion, and trust and believe if he wants that now, he's going to want more later.
Mm-hmm.
$200 billion, in Washington, people throw numbers around billion, trillion, but $200 billion is $200,000 million, Lyndia.
That's a lot of money. Oh, Lord.
$200,000 million. They raise really important economic questions. It could build housing across the country. People keep talking about homelessness. Well, $200 billion. We housing, we could build all kind of housing. Education. We still, Lyndia, that are older than me and you. Either one of us is a spring chicken. To upgrade some of our schools. There's so many we could do with $200 billion or $200,000 million. So the question we want to ask ourselves is what do our budgets say about our national priorities? We rush to fund $200 billion for war, but what about some of the other things that we have to deal with? We don't have the money. You know, we don't have the money for student loans. We don't have the money for this, but we have money for war. What does that say about us?
Wrong priorities.
Exactly. Now, meanwhile, looking at Iran, the conflict is not just a military story. It's an economic story. I know you drive. I don't anymore. But people who are driving have found their gas prices $1 more a gallon, and $1 more a gallon than they were this time last week. The reason is because the Strait of Hormuz, it's a narrow waterway near Iran, carries roughly 1/5 of the world's oil supply. So disrupting Hormuz basically disrupts the entirety of global oil markets. And we're seeing that disruption. Oil prices have surged more than $100 per barrel. And that translates into higher prices at the pump. Again, you know, what does that man say? It'll get better. He has no solutions, but he also has no exit for Iran. So it is really, you know, markets are going to remain volatile. In California, gasoline prices are more than $5 a gallon.
Wow.
And, you know, last week we were looking at $3.25. $5 a gallon. So that's what's going on. And it's inflationary, and we're all going to have to pay for it. And this president doesn't seem to care that much. His story is, well, you know, things happen. They're saying that he wants to eliminate the threat of Iran. Now, didn't we do this 20-some years ago with Iraq? How were we there? That time around, from the time they claimed that there was anthrax or something, from that time, we spent $8 trillion. $8 trillion. Now, they started out saying all they wanted was, I believe it was $400 billion. They ended up with $8 trillion. So look at what we're asking. He's asking for $200 billion. What is this going to multiply into in the long run? That's something that we really have to take a look at. But there's some good news, Lyndia. It is good news. We will have 3 Black women in the United States Senate.
Oh, yeah, that is exciting, isn't it?
Yes, Juliana Stratton.
Out of Illinois.
She beat Robin Kelly, Congresswoman, who I like.
Yes.
But she will have the support of the governor. She was Senate governor. And Pritzker, of course, has more money than God. And so she had a nice, healthy war chest. There was another candidate, and I've forgotten his name, Indian fellow, and second, and Robin was way out in the dust. But she won decisively, and this is going to be, and I've met her several times because she's come through rainbow things. She basically has worked on, she's an attorney, criminal justice reform, economic opportunity, and issues affecting working families. So this is just, it's like how sweet it is, how sweet it is, how sweet.
Amen. Yes, it is. That'll be 3 of them at the same time.
Historic is unprecedented. We never.
Yes, it is. Oh my gosh, it's wonderful.
Just the one. And now we have, of course, Angela also Brooks, Blount Rochester, and we have now Juliana Stratton. This is exciting, and you know, you couldn't scrub the smile off my face.
Yes, Dr. J, me too.
It's great to have something to deal with. So I want to go back. We talked about budgets. Budgets are moral documents.
Mm-hmm. And we only got a minute more.
Oh, we got a minute. Okay. All I have to say is this boils down to power, money, and priorities, and who pays the price. And this war is going to be paid by working class people, by poor people, by Black people. It's not going to be paid by the Trumps of the world, the senators who are basically spending us all the way down. $200 billion is a down payment on nonsense.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. J. We'll talk to you next week. You have a great weekend, and thank you for that.
Thanks so much.
That does it for the Lyndia Grant Show. We're going to go to our commercial break now. Back in a moment.
If it wasn't for my care coach at AmeriHealth, I probably wouldn't be so healthy right now. As a man, we don't get checkups or see a doctor regularly anyways. It's probably just a man thing because none of my partners go either. We know we should, but we just don't, and hope it works out.
So what changed for you?
AmeriHealth assigned me a care coach, somebody that gives one-on-one help, answer questions, explain things, and help set my appointments. She also helped me understand what having high blood pressure really means and ways to manage it so it doesn't kill me. It ain't nothing to play with. If you're a member of AmeriHealth, ask for a care coach. I'm glad I got mine.
At AmeriHealth, if you need a care coach, you can have one. Just call us at 1-877-759-6224 to get connected. 1-877-759-6224. This program is funded in part by the government of the District of Columbia Department of Healthcare Finance. Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Washington and former religion columnist Lyndia Grant.
Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a segregated Montgomery bus. In lectures on brotherhood, Ms. Parks often said, "People always say that I didn't give up my seat because I was tired." But that wasn't true. I was not tired physically. I was not old. I was 42. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in. Driven out of Montgomery by harassment and death threats, Detroit, Michigan became her new home. Rosa Parks will always be remembered as the mother of the civil rights movement. Raised in the AME church, she once said, "I remember finding such comfort and peace while reading the Bible."
Read more in the religion column of the Washington Informer, an award-winning African-American newspaper. We don't report crime or gossip, just positive news. Pick up the Washington Informer or visit us online at washingtoninformer.com. Call 202-561-4100 for more information.
This is Frank Smith with the African American Civil War Museum in Washington, D.C., located at 1925 Vermont Avenue Northwest on the Green Line. Did you know that a recent study found that children who visit museums do better in school and in life than children who do not? So parents, teachers, and preachers, let's get moving. I promise you, if you bring your children to the African American Civil War Museum, they will be inspired by the images that they see. They will be impressed by our living history reenactors who are always available, and they will be involved in our scavenger hunt that takes them throughout our exhibit. That's the African American Civil War Museum, 1925 Vermont Avenue. Our hours are 10 to 6:30 on weekdays, 12 to 4 on Saturdays and Sundays. See it. Be inspired.
Thank you for tuning in to the Lyndia Grant Show. We are back. This is our second half. I am so pleased to have with me as my guest today a gentleman by the name of Christopher Broughton, right?
Yes, ma'am.
One of my sorority sisters named Broughton. That's why I had to think a moment. I will never forget you. I was so pleased to have watched the movie that he was played in. It was Ruth and Boaz, and it was on Netflix. I believe last year, wasn't it, Christopher?
Yeah, that's right. In the last year it came on.
Okay, it was a wonderful show.
Thank you.
I thank my friend Lavonia Fairfax Perrin out of Detroit for hooking me up to do this interview.
All right.
I think Christopher they're getting ready to do a play in Detroit on the same story. Tell us about that.
Right. Well, we're actually going into Detroit to represent. We're heading over to do a big performance for Hood Research, which is a nonprofit that disseminates information into the neighborhoods. They bring folks together, help in education, do wonderful things. They've been around for over 30-something years there.
Mm-hmm.
And with a show called Feedback they have there, and another show that is WGPR, which comes on Monday. And I love the fact that they go out into the community, bring people together. They do things. Theo Broughton and Reggie Crawford, they're co-founders of Hood Research.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about our community and disseminating the information. I think her tagline, she says, is people do better when they know better.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Exactly right. Les Brown always say that. Lyndia,
Mm-hmm.
people know better. They do better when they know better. Yes, indeed.
It's
Well,
true.
well, Christopher, tell us how you decided to do the movie and how long did it take you to make this movie?
Oh, man. Well, I work alongside a gentleman named Devon Franklin, who's also a producer. I'm a writer, director, producer, and talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in entertainment all my life. And so Devon Franklin Entertainment, where I work, he had this idea to do a story, but a story that kind of mirrored his life and what he was going through at the time, Ruth and Boaz. And so we wanted to put something together, got the writers in, brought in some wonderful Corey and Michael together, and did a story and made it modern day so everybody can enjoy it. And for us, it's all about creating projects that a family can go see,
Mm-hmm.
and creating movies that show us in a light that we not, Ronna Campy or Step and Fetch It or these stereotypes. It's a movie that's global for everybody, but it shows us in a great light.
Wonderful, wonderful. Tell the listeners, how do you select the actors for your parts for your movies and shows?
Oh man, to me, when you get into picking actors for movies, it is not just about finding somebody who looks the part or things like that. It's also about finding a chemistry. So first, once you find somebody you like that look you're going for, then you got to see if the chemistry's there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something you can't teach somebody. They either have it or they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's finding that right look, because sometimes it can be somebody you've never seen before or heard about, but man, they're amazing, the chemistry they have with the other talent or the way they jump off screen.
Mm-hmm.
So first is creating the script, then finding the characters that you believe fit, or the people that fit those characters. You may say, I want a guy who's 6'7" and he's built like this and he's that, and you get that guy. But then you find another guy who just has this charisma and this talent
Mm-hmm.
and this magic. And so it's a process.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have something in mind when we start. And then it either ends up that way or shaped just a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And there's sometimes it's what the producers like, but most of the times a director has something that they like.
Christopher, tell us what have been some of the responses from this film, Ruth and Boaz?
Oh, man. The funny thing about Ruth and Boaz, I kept teasing them and saying, look, this movie's going to touch everybody's heart. We won't need a Tom Cruise or nothing because the script was good.
Mm-hmm.
It's based, on a story from the Bible, the book of Ruth, but it's modern day with what we're going through today. And the response alone has been people like, oh my gosh, that's me. Oh, that's my aunt. Oh, that's what I went through. Well, I've been waiting for the right kind of girl to come through. And people think I'm crazy, but I knew it'd be this one. So people really found themselves in this movie globally. The movie was not just the number one movie on Netflix. It became the most liked movie around the world. So that was a gift from God to be able to share, this story from the Bible in a modern way, but have people around the world, really like the story.
Oh, it was wonderful. What do you want people to take away after seeing this film?
I'd love them to say that, it doesn't matter, where you are. God's going to find you where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're authentic in yourself, and you can't fake authenticity, and you can't fake intelligence. So I want them to take away from the film that, you know what, I can have mistakes and still be okay. I can still fall and fall forward.
Exactly.
It's going to be all right. No matter what happens, it's going to be all right. That's
Chris,
what I want to do.
Chris, tell the listeners how they can support you in these kind of films, and tell them who decides that you can have more family type films this way.
Well, they can reach me at my name on Instagram if they want to get to me. They want to get a story, want to see some of the next movies we're doing. So my name is Christopher, ChristopherHer. Then my last name Broughton and number 1 on Instagram, and you'll see my picture pop up. And then just send me a text. Hey, I want to see more movies like this. Hey, when's your next film? Hey, how can I go see it? I mean, I've been sending people to the movies. So just have them reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to get them to the film, or let us know what you like, and go support these kind of movies. Because see, they don't think that we want to see these kind of movies. They want to put the Step and Fetch It movies out there, or the Homeboy movies, you know, or that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking we're so much more than that. And so we have to support the film. So when you watch a film on Netflix, which is one of the largest platforms out there, there at the end of the movie, or even when you're looking up a movie, it says like. So you can touch like, or you can even write a comment about it.
Oh yeah.
And it lets them know that, hey, they like this movie.
Oh yeah, and, it was wonderful. It really was. A rich guy like that too, handsome, everything about it. I enjoyed that. I'm gonna watch it again.
Yeah, man, because we are rich people. There's more ways to make money than not. And you don't always have to be doing music. You don't always have to be, an athlete. You can be a farmer. Farmers are very wealthy.
That's right.
You can run your own business. You can have, your fence company. You can have, a carpet laying company. You can be, a pipe fitter. There's so many different things that can make you wealthy. There's so many different things that, you could be, a website designer. There's many, many things you can do. And we want people to realize that, hey, even when I teach filmmaking, I share with the kids, you may not be an actor, but you may be a producer or a manager, or you may be, a director. You may be a designer of the sets. You may be an artist that designs the clothes. You may be, the person that brings the set down the next day. You may be a lighting person. You may be the person that lays the cord. You may be the engineer. There's a million jobs when it comes to putting a movie together. You may be the person that designs the title, or creates the poster, or came up with the color scheme, or focus puller. So I tell people that, the ecosystem of any profession out there, there's thousands of jobs. When people tell me, well, that's my movie, I tell people, stop for a minute and look at all of those credits. It took thousands and thousands and thousands of people to make that movie.
Amen.
From the craft service, that's the person who's making, the coffee and everything else, to the chef, to the PA, and those are all great jobs.
Well, Christopher, were you ever in a soap opera, or am I thinking of someone else?
I've done television and film as an actor. I've been a ghostwriter for over 30 years in the business. I've written movies that you've seen. As a director, I've done martial art movies, and I've directed everything from Showtime at the Apollo to segment directing for the award shows to, just a plethora of stuff. This has been my life, since I was a child.
Okay.
Thank God I've been able to do what I love to do.
Okay, well, we'll go to our last question. Since you're coming to Detroit you're going to have more questions and answers to share. some of your new upcoming projects. Tell us,
Right.
what are some of those things? And
Oh my God! Well, we're coming to Detroit for a big celebration with the Hood Research brand, and we're going to be showing Ruth and Boaz and bringing some of the folks from Ruth and Boaz there, and we're going to have some contests. We're going to have some giveaways. It's nothing like watching a movie and sitting in the audience with the people from the movie. And then some of my new films. I have a film out right now that's called Food Truck, which just got an Oscar nomination. And it happened to be a foreign film that I produced in. And then I have another film we're starting later this summer. And I have another project that we're in pre-production on called Live right now. So we'll be talking about a lot of that stuff there, and offering some jobs to people while we're in Detroit, and offering some goodwill. But it's all about coming in to have a great time with them, with some giveaways and some fun for the Hood Research, which is going to be held out at the, I think it's ULD College there. But you can check with Theo Broughton at Hood Research. Her phone number is 313-491-8315. Say, I want to come to the Ruth and Boaz premiere. That's going to be in Detroit.
Let's say that number 313
491-8315. You're coming to Theo Broughton Hood Research.
All right, very good.
Ruth and Boaz night.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Christopher Broughton, for being my guest today. And thank you to my friend Livonia Perriman Fairfax out of Detroit, Michigan. Everybody knows Livonia. I thank you for being my guest today. That does it for my show this week. Good day.
Washington Informer religion columnist Lyndia Grant.
Ida B. Wells, born into enslavement, was a journalist and activist. An avid reader, she read through the entire Bible many times. Wells was once asked to leave the ladies' car and sit in the colored train. She refused, and train officials pushed her. Ida B. Wells retaliated, but was pushed off the train at the next stop. A crowd of whites applauded. She vowed to get even. 3 of her close friends were lynched for opening businesses that cut into profits of whites. Everything changed for Wells. She spoke out internationally against lynching of blacks for the rest of her life. Through her efforts, lynching in America nearly disappeared by the time of her death. An NAACP founder, we salute Ida B. Wells for Women's History Month.
Read more in the religion column of the Washington Informer, an award-winning African-American newspaper. We don't report crime or gossip, just positive news. Pick up the Washington Informer or visit us online at washingtoninformer.com. Call 202-561-4100 for more information.
Thank you for listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with your host, Lyndia Grant.